This is Ingraham from Washington tonight. Dr. Oz is here with his first trip to the Angle since his run in Pennsylvania. You do not want to miss it. But first, high hopes. Well, low hopes. That's the focus of tonight's Angle. Now, the Democrats are getting desperate. They're running out of time. And they need you scared.
These extreme weather events we are experiencing, they will impact the access that we have to fossil fuels.
Manage the impact of climate change, becoming more extreme weather.
We don't know what the next shock is going to be. A pandemic, a war, a climate-related extreme weather event, which is happening more and more frequently every passing year.
Now he's a weather expert because he handled the transportation thing so well. All right, well, here's the rule of thumb. If it's super hot out, it's climate change. And if it's super cold in the winter, it's climate change. So whatever change is happening, it means you have to run out and get an electric car. All right, yeah, for all their fear-mongering, the globalists are worried that their dream of a carbon-neutral world is fading away. Because in just the past week, a giant climate spending bill, that went down in flames on Capitol Hill. And then Germany's going back to coal, it turns out, whoops. And of course, Americans are seething about gas prices.
Gas is going up, but people's paycheck ain't going up.
Did definitely cancel a long trip I was thinking of making this season because of the gas prices.
I can't afford gas sometimes, so you eat or buy gas. That's the way it goes now. And it shouldn't be like that in America.
Democrats are blaming Republicans, are blaming Manchin, drivers who won't ditch their gas guzzlers, and of course, Vladimir Putin. They know their climate window is closing, so they send up their drone.
No one country can solve this problem by itself. We all have to be able to reduce the emissions. We have to accelerate the transition. We're behind. We're not yet fulfilling the promises that we made in Glasgow. So we have our work cut out for us.
First, let me translate this. When John Heinz Kerry talks about accelerating the transition, what he means is a transition from when you had extra money in your pocket to a time where you have none. From American prosperity to American poverty. And the White House believes that you should be happy to make this sacrifice.
What do you say to those families who say, listen, we can't afford to pay $4.85 a gallon for months, if not years?
About the future of the liberal world order, and we have to stand firm.
Wait. Liberal world order. You notice how they never define what that actually means? And did Biden ever campaign on that concept of the liberal world order? As far as I can tell, the liberal world order stands for, I don't know what, abortion, anti-Americanism, and eliminating our energy independence to help other more worthy countries. But just a few years ago, 2018, 2019, we had peace, we had no inflation, no new wars, we had no inflation, and even blue-collar wages were beginning to rise. Of course, that made the left absolutely miserable because Democrats were happiest when you were locked in your homes, waiting for the next Fauci press conference, terrified of a virus with about a 99.97% survivability rate for people under the age of 70. They loved it when your expectations were low. They called it the new normal. There was more alcohol and drug use, more students were falling behind, zooming in, more mental illness. But the climate nuts, they were thrilled because they hoped that you were being conditioned to be satisfied with having less, with traveling less, with making less money, because we were keeping each other safe and the planet cleaner.
Look outside. Look at the sky. Is it clearer? Is the air cleaner? Well, fewer cars on the roads and planes in our skies have helped the planet breathe.
The image on the left is what Los Angeles skyline usually looks like, where you've got that smog there. On the right, this was taken just about a week ago. Much clearer skies and cleaner skies because you don't have quite as much pollution.
They love no productivity. The sky's cleaner. And today, the Democrats and their global allies, they're back at it. This economic downturn, you have to understand this, is not an accident. This impending recession isn't a surprise. This is the Biden agenda working as it should. Now, if it weren't really planned, well, bozos like Janet Yellen would have been fired long ago. The whole economic team would have been fired. But Biden thinks they're all doing a bang-up job. So we may not have formal lockdowns in place, but Americans are staying put because of high gas prices. 65% are spending less on going out. 61% are driving less to do errands. Half are traveling less, and 4 in 10 are using savings to pay for day-to-day expenses. Same number, by the way, are spending less on groceries. Well, I have to tell you, that makes the super rich who are driving this insane climate lie ecstatic. And the globalists at the White House and Congress, at the World Economic Forum, they've decided that to maintain their own power and their own money and to save the planet, yeah, they probably want to do that too, they must lower the standard of living for the average American. And by the way, same is happening elsewhere. This is why the Dutch are wiping out their farmers. This is why Europe doesn't have a smart energy policy today. By the way, their sustainability agenda includes some key elements that they have to force on Western nations, but especially here in America. It requires taking agricultural land out of production, reducing automobile traffic, attacking the fossil fuel industry, keeping fuel costs high, reducing U.S. manufacturing, and keeping the climate change propaganda in schools, corporate America, cartoons, all of it. And when the White House, by the way, is pressed on how long the pain will go on for Americans, I want you to listen closely.
This is a step that we're taking to inflict further pain on Putin, but there will be cost as well here in the United States.
How long is it fair to expect American drivers and drivers around the world to pay that premium for this war?
As long as it takes. So Russia cannot, in fact, defeat Ukraine.
As long as it takes. Now, Democrats really thought that they could convince you to voluntarily accept a lower standard of living for your families, your kids, your grandkids. And indeed, many Democrats, they're already on board with that agenda. Remember, liberals in the media and on the Hill, they're not turning on Biden now because they disagree with his policies. They're just turning on Biden because he's such a lame messenger. More on that, by the way, later on in the show. But the Greeniacs ran into a new phenomenon that they hadn't prepared for, they hadn't anticipated. I'm talking about new immigrants who came here for a better life, and they're not willing to accept a lower standard of living for a stupid climate fantasy. They would have stayed in their home country. And it turns out, and middle-class Americans still they want to live in the suburbs, they want to have 2 cars, they want to have good schools that aren't propagandizing 24/7. And these same people, they're not slavishly poring over the academics who are speaking out in the New York Times, like economist Herman Daly, who now is urging America to rethink its obsession with economic growth. I read this over the weekend, and unbelievable. He says, it's a false assumption to say that growth is increasing the standard of living in the present world because we measure growth as in growth with GDP. If it goes up, does that mean we're increasing standard of living? We've said that it does, but we've left out all the costs of increasing GDP. We really don't know that the standard is going up. If you subtract the deaths and the injuries caused by auto accidents, chemical pollution, wildfires, and many of the other costs induced by excessive growth, it's not clear at all. Oh my God. They really are desperate, trying to totally upend the American dream. Now think about where America would be today if we took Herman's attitude at the most pivotal times in our history. I don't know, our World War II assembly lines, producing all those weapons with all American-made steel and all the iron we had to win the war, the Industrial Revolution. Guess we wouldn't have done any of that. Think of the air pollution that caused. I guess we should have stayed with horses. Well, never lose sight of the fact that the green agenda is being pushed hardest by those whose lives will be affected least by the radical restructuring of our economy.
You believe this is the toughest challenge humanity has ever faced?
Absolutely. The amount of change, new ideas, it's way greater than the pandemic, and it needs a level of cooperation that would be unprecedented. Climate change will kill 5 times as many people per year as the peak of the pandemic by the end of the century, and it will be accelerating, and without a simple tool to stop that right away.
Keep your eye on him. We are. And as we've been telling you for months now, the left and its enablers have given up on Americans. Because in their minds, we deserve to be punished for the country's wicked, racist, greedy history. But there is good news. You don't have to take this from the climate control freaks, because if you beat them in November and again in 24 and you choose smart and courageous America First conservatives, well, our government's going to have to stop answering to the international bureaucrats and people like Bill Gates and George Soros. They're going to have to start answering once again to we the people. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.